What's happening, everybody? It is Thrifty Biz with J and A. I'm your one host, Vegas J.
And I'm your other host, Princess Naya.
And man, do we have an awesomely fun-packed show for you tonight. As you can see, it is May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you and you and you. And it's going to be Star Wars for the first half of the show. But then we have an ultimate special guest. This is the specialist of all our guests. It is Cari from Cash and Cari Cucksey. How are you, Cari?
You did a good job. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I trip over that name all the time. I can't get it to flow right.
Yeah, you know, my husband's last name is tough too. He's Vincenzo Iavano. So I chose like the name I've had for my life because it's a tough one to begin with. So yeah, you're not the first, you won't be the last to slay that name.
Come on, what happened to like Smith and Jones and Brown? Come on, what happened to those easy ones?
I gotta keep it interesting, you know.
You do. All right, cool. We're gonna talk to you in a little bit, so we're gonna say bye-bye for a few, and we will see you at the half-hour mark. And so let's get right into it, shall we?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, whoops. Let's try that one more time. Hey. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and try and pair it up to our guest. But this week I didn't pair it up to our guest. I paired it up to our subject because, of course, I'm drinking out of a Star Wars tiki mug. Hello, Chewbacca. And because there's no real Star Wars rum, I went with the dark side, and I went with a dark rum. So this is Gosling's Black Seal. And to make an easy cocktail, this is what is in a dark and stormy. So you get ginger beer, Gosling's Black Seal rum. It has to be Gosling's, and a little bit of fresh lime juice, and boom, you have a cocktail. Very easy. So cool. Yummy.
So I am drinking, there's no real Star Wars beer. I'm drinking New Planet Raspberry Ale.
I love it.
And I'm drinking it out of my kids' Chewbacca mug.
I could have grabbed any of my Star Wars mugs and we both did Chewbacca. That's awesome.
How funny is that? Yes. So cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We all missed you. We were off for a week while I was in Atlanta, and I'm so happy to be back. All right, let's get right to it.
Okay. Righty.
Nate's breast cancer update and fact of the week.
Yep, and you can pull that picture up at so I haven't really explained what's going on with me. I've been a little vague about it. So I'm trying to try to run through this really quick. I just want to be upfront with all of you. You know, I was kind of waiting on some tests and whatnot. So I had remission, quote remission, for about 6 months, and still got my boxing gloves on. I'm still fighting, but they did find a spot in my left reconstructed side that is a tumor, and it is cancerous in the way that it's called atypical ductal hyperplasia, which was the same type of cancer I had in my left side, but it's an earlier type of cancer. So that's a good thing, and we're hoping that it is all encapsulated, meaning it's all enclosed, and that there's no nasty invasive cancer like I had on the other side. It was obviously missed from the double mastectomy. So it's not exactly, usually when cancer comes back, it relocates in your lungs and your brain and your bones, somewhere like that. So this is a good thing that it hasn't done that as I know of yet. I do have to have some scans done because my blood work has been off. So I'll be getting the scans done, and we'll see if there is cancer anywhere else in my body. And if there is, I'll deal with that too. But as I know of right now, this is what it is. And I'm having surgery on June 8th, and I will be getting this nasty thing out of my body on June 8th. And I'm hoping after that, you know, I can keep fighting and go on. I do, like I said, have to have my scans, and I'll find out if there's other stuff. I'll just take it head on and keep going. I was sick last week. I've been very depressed. I had to go on antibiotics because my immune system is weakened. I get a cold, it turns into bronchitis. So, but I'm feeling better. I'm doing better, and I'm rallying, and I'm just gonna keep going. So, And in honor of May 4th, Star Wars Day, I have some breast cancer Star Wars t-shirts and whatnot. And I do check everything. The pink, that pink R2-D2 and all of those items actually did go to, a portion went to charity. So that's some cool Star Wars breast cancer stuff for you guys, just to kind of end it on a lighter note.
Very cool. All right, keep on fighting, girl.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
All right, now it is time for our scores of the week, and I themed them almost all out to Star Wars. So let me start with the one thing that isn't Star Wars, but kind of looks like a Star Wars character. Yes, you saw it on our haul. My giant Easter bunny Monchichi, which sold, of course, after Easter. Kind of looks like an Ewok, but this sucker was 17 inches tall, $60, and he's on his way to Japan. And I paid like $4 for him, so that was a good deal. Okay, on to Star Wars. Nay has made me get into the linen section. I've been buying
forced
linens.
you.
Forced me. You forced me. Good pun. Good pun. And this was one of my first sheet sales. I sold this Star Wars sheet, and I have other Star Wars sheets listed. So thank you, Nadine, for pushing me that way. And although not Star Wars, it is Han Solo's alter ego. I sold this today. This Raiders of the Lost Ark on Super 8mm actual film. I listed it. It sold 10 minutes later. I paid $10 and I sold it for $80, and it's on its way to New York right now. And then, although this is not my sale, I did sell this before and I found it cheap at a thrift store. So I wanted to share with you. There are a bazillion versions of the Star Wars movies on both VHS and DVD and Blu-ray. Some are worth a lot more than others. Memorize this cover. This is the Mac Daddy. What I sold, I think I sold for $400. The value has dropped, but it's still pulling in $2, $2.25. So it's this blue one where Luke and Vader are fighting from towards the end of Return of the Jedi. This is the Mac Daddy. Check it out. Memorize it. Don't forget it.
Okay, and I actually have a Star Wars score this week, which is unusual for me. I did list all my Star Wars stuff because I was hoping that this would happen. Now, here's a tip. These kids' Crocs really don't do too well on their own, even though they're Star Wars and, you know, they're cute and all. They sell on their own for maybe $10 if you're lucky. So I found 2 pairs at my local Goodwill, and I paid $2.99 each, and they were the same size, which is important. And I lotted them together, and I was able to sell them both together for more than I would have for each individually. That's how it sometimes works with kid stuff. So $24.99 plus they paid shipping. And then today I had this sale. I sold a pair of Tory Burch, and I have an error in my title there. It should say thong, not thing. I just saw that after the sale, so that's some quick listing. I just got these up recently, and this is a pair that were right next to a pair of Coach that were beat up and marked $20, and they had these up for $3.99 because they didn't know what they were. I saw the Tory Burch logo right away. I knew what it was, and as a bonus, they were size 11, which is a great size in women's because you want to get those bigger sizes. So these sold for $99.99 today, and I sent them out already. I got the cha-ching this afternoon. I went to the post office with them an hour later. They're off. And then this Victoria's Secret bra actually was given to me to sell by a friend, so I got it for free. That's always good, and it was new with tags. And I sold it for $29.99 plus shipping. So that was a good sale. And it was an A cup too, so not always bigger bras sell. And then this sheet set was awesome. It was a vintage 70s Codell, which is keyword 70s. That's 70s polyester basically, or muslin it was called at the time. It's a cotton polyester blend. So I found the flat sheet, and then I was at the same Goodwill like 2 days later, and I found the matching pillowcases. So I think I paid $5 for the flat sheet and like $2 for the pillowcases, sold them all together for $39.99 now. The buyer didn't pay that $12.75 shipping. I actually was able to get this into a legal flat rate envelope. It wouldn't fit in a padded flat rate, but I put it in a poly first, and then it fit perfectly in the legal. So I saved, and then I refunded the buyer like $6 in shipping. So they were really happy about that.
Awesome sauce. All right, you have seen our scores. Now it is time to see our duds. Our duds of the week is brought to you by WorthPoint. Do not let our mistakes be yours. WorthPoint is the largest resource for identifying, researching, and valuing antiques, art, and vintage and collectibles. And if you use WorthPoint, you won't make the mistakes like we are about to show you.
Exactly. So this one is a dud because I think, you know, I bought this like a couple years ago. I still remember it was at a flea market, and I was all excited because I found it with the instructions in it and all. But Wilton has really taken a decline. I probably have to price it lower. I've had it up and down, but it's just not going anywhere. Nobody wants Darth Vader. Nobody wants to make a Darth Vader cake. So, and then this was a dud. I just sold this. I mean, it's sold, so that's a good thing. But my Star Wars mugs are really not moving. And this is another one that has been up forever. And it finally sold a couple weeks ago for $16.99 with free shipping, which was good. I mean, I got it out the door. I still made a profit, but it was just such a slow sale. So Starbucks, for the most part, is on the decline.
Okay, before I show you my dud, how did Boba Fett ever drink a cocktail? This is ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
But I do want to take it off. I wasn't leaving on for a couple segments, but I want to talk. What's the matter?
No, I was just going to interject real quick. I was wondering, I tried to take a nap before, and I was wondering how Princess Leia ever sleeps because I couldn't get comfortable with these big buns. So Boba can't drink cocktails, and Princess Leia can't nap.
All right, so let me tell you about my dud before I show it to you. My assistant lists for me, and she does a pretty good job. She picks prices. Sometimes she doesn't realize something is worth more or less, and then I adjust. She had $21 on it. I said, no, it's rare because of this, and I gave the reasons, and I was dead on. But guess what? I didn't up it nearly enough. I upped it to 35, and it sold like that. But guess what? It was worth at least 100. And so my gut pushed me, but it did not push me far enough. So I'm only showing you one dud this week because I left at least $65 on the table. And when I find this again, and I will because now I'm on the hunt, and when you find it, price it accordingly. This is a Little Mermaid sheet that she ain't the Little Mermaid. She is all legs with Prince Eric for the Kiss the Girl part of Little Mermaid. And I showed Bridget, our admin, who knows Disney, after the fact, and she was like, hey, you big dummy, that was a $100 sheet. And so I felt it, but I didn't go far enough. So, you know, I only paid $2, but boy, if you find this sheet, do not do what I did and leave money on the table.
Yep.
All right, now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind. Renee and I recount some interactions we have in thrift stores with you. Sometimes bad, sometimes good, sometimes funny, sometimes scary.
Yeah, so this guy is a Sarah. For those of you that don't know, that's Jason's term for smash and run away. Anything tiki that's, and this is one of those China DWs. It's a cute monkey, but it is one big Sarah. So the funny thing about this guy is that he follows me around my Goodwill, and he's been following me around my Goodwill for probably about 2 months now. But I find him sometimes in the kids section, sometimes in the mug section, sometimes in the tchotchkes. Sometimes he's just sitting like peeking out of the books. So he moves around, but he's always there.
He's following you.
And I want to smash him. And then the funny thing is, the day that I told this to Jason, our friend Chris Green posted a video of himself smashing the same exact one. So it was just kind of ironic that it was like, it's all. So this guy and I think he's still there too. So
you're going to have to smash him. All right.
I think so.
I wish I had video or a picture of this, but this is all I can show you. When we were filming Thrift Hunters and we were in Phoenix, I picked up this exact type of lightsaber, and I whacked my co-host Brian in the arm with it. And with no fear, I mean, look, I'm a big, scary white guy. With no fear, a little black 7-year-old walked up to me and said, "You're doing it wrong." And I put my hands on my hips, and I went, "Oh, am I?" and he took it out of my hand. Again, no fear. He turned it on. He had no clue there was batteries in, but there was batteries in it. He then waved it and went, wah, wah. And he hands it back. He goes, see, you were doing it wrong. And he kind of walked away. So then I whacked Brian in the arm with it while it was going wah, wah, wah. And it was the cutest, most natural moment of our show, and a great interaction with a kid. And we asked the mom if she minded if her kid would be on TV. And at first she said, no, I wouldn't mind. She filled out all the paperwork. And then right as she had to sign the release, she freaked out and took him and left. And we'll never be able to see it. But it was such a cute, sweet moment. So I'm bummed, but that's at least you know the story. And I wish I could see that footage. All right, now it's time for our Thrifty Tips of the Week. Our Thrifty Tips of the Week are brought to you by Stamps.com, postage on demand. Stamps.com's online postage service enables small businesses like me and Nadine, enterprises, and online retailers to print U.S. Postal Service approved postage with just a computer, printer, and internet connection right from their home or office. I use it almost every day. Every time I send my mommy a package, hi, mommy, in the chat, I'm doing it on Stamps.com.
Awesome. So my thrifty tip is you see this palette magazine, and my tip is if you find magazines, even I find them in the bins a lot. You can find them so cheap. You can find them for $0.25. You can find them in abundance in the bins. I sold a Time magazine that, or Time or Life magazine that I showed as a score a couple months ago that I got in the bins for next to nothing. And it was the AIDS issue, like the big 80s, like when the AIDS scare was, you know, in its prime. It was that issue, and it sold for $30. So this one is another one that I got in the bins for next to nothing. And if you see them that have great keywords like this is Bruce Lee in it. It's got Star Wars in it. It's got Iceberg Hunters, whoever those guys are, but whatever, I'm sure they have fans. Yeah. So it's got so many great keywords in it. And so the topics are so rich that this is going to sell for the $14.99. And I paid nothing for it. So if you find magazines, find them that are keyword rich, that are centered around big events or very interesting topics, and then use those in your keywords and they'll sell.
Okay, so mine is back to Star Wars, and I am working on a bunch of small vintage action figures. And so if you don't know it, the date and the place that they were made is written on the back. So if you're in a store or a garage sale, my thrifty tip is to, if you don't have a magnifying glass or loop, and you don't need to carry those anymore because your smartphone has a kick-ass camera, and that is a bitchin' magnifying glass, because you zoom in, focus, take the picture, then go look at the picture, and you can zoom in even more. So here's a shot of the back of the action figure, and then I zoomed in even more, and boom, we can see it says 1980 LFL made in Hong Kong. So when you're looking at little tiny stuff, you've got the magnifying glass on your hip or in your purse. And now... you have got to be shipping me. Renee and I teach you what to do and what not to do when shipping. Excuse me. This segment is brought to you by Bubble Fast, a family-owned business providing quality shipping supplies to the online community since 1999. Bubble Fast, the internet's home for shipping supplies. And as you can see, use our code J and Nay and save 10% off your entire order.
Okay, so you're going to be like, what the heck is this? So if you live in a big city, as I do, you probably on trash day, if you're walking your dog or you're just walking around the neighborhood, will see a lot of crazy stuff out on the curb. Well, I live near some businesses. One of those businesses is a Mummers New Year's Eve clubhouse, and they put out all kinds of crazy stuff. So you see those mannequin heads. I live near a bar, so you see those boxes, the liquor boxes. And I also live near a lot of other business where there's boxes. So my tip is free shipping supplies on the curb, and they're not like in with the trash. They're out, they're clean, they're great. So there you go.
And apparently free dirty mannequins. All right. So my shipping tip is actually here with me. And when you ship stuff and it breaks, one of the reasons things break is because they can move in your package. And so you have to do everything in your power so the product cannot move. The movement causes damage. So when you have a bobblehead like this, get a little thin piece of bubble wrap and wrap it around his neck, essentially choking him to death until it doesn't bobble. So now he don't bobble. So he is not going to have any damage. See that? You don't bobble. And that will help it not, like if you had the original box, cool. But if you don't, that's what you do to stop your products from moving and stop the damage from happening. All right, cool. Now it is time for our eBay tip of the week, which is brought to you by Free Up. Free Up with 3 E's is the hands-on solution to hire remote e-commerce workers. Free Up vets hundreds of workers a week so you can get access to the top 1% of online talent whenever you need them. Sign up is free, no monthly fees, no minimum hours. Get the workers you need when you need them and only pay for the hours they work. Brenda, a loyal watcher of our show. Hey, Brenda. Heard Nate when he was on and is now on her way to building a remote empire with her team of Free Up workers. Go to freeup.com with 3 E's to start to free up your time and scale your business.
Yeah, I was just chatting with Brenda the other day. She is doing awesome. So my tip is the first picture in eBay, if you're eBay listing, well, all the pictures are square. So your first picture should be square. And if you have a large item like this Star Wars Clone Wars sheet, take a square of the most focal, or a large piece of fabric too. Take a square picture of one of the most focal, interesting points of it, or a square of the pattern, and use that as your first picture rather than a big, distance away. You need that long shot of the whole sheet, or to show that it's a full sheet or whatever. But that should not be your first picture. It's much more interesting and exciting if you use the square format and take an interesting focal point of it like that. So
when you sent me this picture to use tonight, I thought that was me photoshopped in the guy in the beige.
No, that's not. Like, that is the actual sheet.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to what I'm working on here. I have a heck of a project. My friend gave me his childhood Star Wars toys to sell. And my tip is to really, really pay attention. When you get a large collection of something, sometimes the parts are worth more than the whole, and sometimes the whole is worth more than the parts. So I'm working on all these action figures in a C-3PO storage container. And the actual tip I'm going to show you is, he even saved the backs. So I got a sweet collection here. I got all the guns, but it is C-3PO. O as the letter in the alphabet. So when you search C-3PO, you get 3,381 sold listings. But if you search C-3P0, you still get 268 listings. So if you're selling anything C-3PO, I would absolutely start it with C-3PO, and the last 4 things in your title should be CP30, because some people don't get it. But you want to catch everyone. So make sure you use both.
Good tip.
I didn't even think to come up with a sound effect for rotating segment. Oh, that was good. All right. Oh no.
I think you're dropping out, Jason.
What is happening to me?
I don't know, but you're dropping out. So
I know. Am I there?
You're there, but you were your sound was dropping out. I couldn't. Yeah, there. Okay, so now I see our new segment.
All right. So am I back?
You're back. I see our new segment there. So.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I didn't lose Wi-Fi or nothing. That was weird. All right. So here's our new segment. Ready? Oh no! Thrift outside your comfort zone. This will be one of our new monthly rotating segments because we want everyone, the only way to prosper at this gig is to get outside your comfort zone. So there we go. All right, we're back and we're looking good. So as you can see, Nadine's wearing a dude's hat, holding CDs, and wearing a turtle shirt. I'm in a dress, holding blankets in the children's section. So yucky. We're outside our comfort zone.
Yes, we both are.
And I'm going to start it. Now, this is my comfort zone now. Oh, my. What is going on tonight?
I see you, so.
Yeah, but my other computer dropped out. So This is my comfort zone now, but it wasn't. So I wanted to show you where I started, and I'm kind of pretty good at it. So this is outside my comfort zone, or was. This is a badass bra. Now, I sell a lot of big bras, and I really got to the feel of the quality of the bras. Now, this is new with tags, and it's an Ashley Stewart butterfly bra. It's got two closures on the back, and it's a 44F. Now, I looked at this bra, Nate, and it don't sell for much. But it's badass, and I'm going to sell for more. So I will be sharing this bra in an upcoming episode as a score, and I'm going to show you that I sold it for more because I aim higher than everyone else. Yeah,
so that's something that was outside your comfort zone that you've made your comfort zone now. So, yeah, very cool. Okay, and mine is?
Well, I don't know, so hang tight.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to refresh that. So start talking about yours.
Okay, so I sell, mostly women's clothing and shoes, and you put me in the women's clothing section and in the women's shoe section. I'm comfortable. I'm really comfy. I'm good. You put me in CDs now. I'm getting there, but you put me in you show me some floor tiles. I'm not comfortable. So
you show me some floor tiles,
and I'm not comfortable anymore. So I sold some vintage, a new old stock box of vintage 1970s floor tiles. They're shine-tastic, no wax. Now this box weighed 28 pounds. So yeah, it was heavy, and it was just being left there in the thrift store. I think because it was so heavy, nobody wanted it, and it was only like $4.99. I was like, I know I can sell this, so I sold it. Now that's not the right selling price there. I had it up for $99.99. I did take it off for a $50, and they paid shipping, and it was like $20 to ship. It did go to somewhere in New Jersey, and I did FedEx Smart Post because it was so heavy. So once it was packed and all, it was a solid 30 pounds. So, but yeah, that was way out of my comfort zone. I would have never looked at vintage or any floor tiles before, but I stopped, I paused. I was like, I think I might be able to sell these. I looked them up, and sure enough, it's like, ooh, so I made a good profit on those.
So this will be one of our rotates. You'll see it once a month, but we want everyone to go get outside your comfort zone and buy something. Now, I showed you the bra. I normally sell bras now, but there was a moment when a friend said, hey, bras do quite well. And I went, get out of here. And then I got into bras. And then I felt the quality of that one. It feels really good. So Nadine never sold floor tiles, but now she'll keep her eyes open for floor tiles. So get outside your comfort zone and make some money. All right, our last segment before we get our guest on here. Oh, man. All right.
Yeah, your sound is dropping off again. That is so not our usual sound, but we'll go with it.
The usual sound effect button is missing.
Okay, so we'll go with that tonight.
Yes. So Jay and Nay's mini thrift haul. And guess what? We just figured out our next thrift haul will be, wait for it, Saturday night. Last time we did a Saturday night haul, we had a great audience. Everyone who stayed home, we're both staying home. So this Saturday night, 9:30 East Coast, 6:30 West Coast. The link will be up later today. We're going to do a thrift haul. So now we're going to tease you with 2 items from our upcoming thrift haul. Now, I teased this earlier. This is a Tervis tumbler. Tervis tumbler makes a good product. People like to buy them. And the special thing about every Tervis tumbler is there is something inside of it to make it unique. So this is actually going to be a gift for one of my lifeguards. And I'll have to figure out which one, but I got the lifeguard Tervis tumbler. If you don't know, the admins, like Nadine and all the admins in the YouTube chat, the admins in my group are called lifeguards because my group is a beach. So one of my lifeguards is going to get this cup, and we'll figure out a way to do it. And you probably saw this on my 8 video, but if you do not know this brand of pants, make sure you tune in Saturday night to find out why you should be keeping an eye out for these brand of pants.
Those are some crazy pants. So mine is actually this sweet shirt. And this is a Star Wars shirt. It's a kid's shirt. And it says, what's it say? Oh, Skywalker's family vacation. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Now, does this sell well or doesn't it sell well? And why did I buy it? That's the question. So it does have Star Wars on the tag there, and it's kind of catchy. And I paid $1 for it. So, and then my other item is these awesome boots, and they are not a brand that you would think they would be. It's a brand that's probably on your radar, but you would not think that they were. And the thrift store missed tagging them as this brand.
Nice.
In fact, when I got to the cashier, she was like, "Oh, these are X, Y, and Z." And yeah, she was like, "Oh, we missed those." So.
All right, cool. So that was our segments, and those of you tune in for the Star Wars nerd stuff, cool. But stay tuned because now we got a great guest. So let's get her in here. Hello, it is Cari Cucksey from oh, Jesus, and I screwed up on Cash. The word with 4 letters, that's easy. From Cash and Cari. Hi, Cari.
Hello. How are you?
Oh my God, that was horrible. I am great. Thank you for being on our show tonight. I gotta say, I'm tickled. I'm tickled that you and I have kind of become friends over the last year or so, and I really thoroughly enjoyed your show. Your show was, and I really am, and anyone who knows me knows I don't pull any punches or, give any bullshit, but your show was the only other show in our vein of shows that I actually enjoyed watching. This is before I knew you, before I ever talked to you. I'm like, this is the show I like. I liked you as a personality, and I liked what you were doing, and it felt very genuine and real. So I really appreciated that.
It was real. The only thing that we ever had to redo is if we missed a moment. Somebody buying something, they missed it, they wanted to get another angle. And we tried to do it as real as possible because, again, I don't want to show any fake stuff. It's really how it goes down. And they sped it up a little bit. There's a lot more that goes in, obviously, to estate sales and how you do that business. But it was a lot of fun, and we kept it as real as possible. People would question it. They're like, "Oh, did you really find that under the stairs?" Well, yeah, we found it under the stairs. What we find. I mean, it's all real. We didn't place anything. I mean, we would have to go scout, as and kind of see what's there. So we made sure it was a quality situation, but that was really it.
So, and I'm so with you that, your show was a very, very matter of fact. I was always looking, even though my show was somewhat matter of fact, I'm a funny guy, I think. And I was always looking for the joke. And so when you said,
come on.
When you said you got to redo things, we'd say something funny, and then like a plane would fly overhead. And then I got to say it funny again, but make it sound natural the second and the third and the fourth time. And so, you're by the fourth time, you're like, does it still sound funny? Because in my head, it ain't funny no more.
Or someone's weed whipping next door and just happens to flip up. It's just amazing how sound influences it so much.
And let me ask you this. Until you made TV, did you never noticed sound and shadows until you made TV as much as you do when you make TV?
Oh, and lighting, big time.
It's insane.
Insane.
But yeah, we found a quiet side street in Atlanta to do one of the interviews where we just talk to the camera. We get all set up, and the guy next door decides that's when he's going to weed eat. Exactly. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
And I'm somebody who loves music. I love to work with music. I love music around. It gets me going. So, having to work and shoot, and it was silent, until that would grind my gears a little bit. But it's what TV's all about. Got to hear the sound.
Oh, absolutely. So Nadine has a confession to make.
Oh, yes. Here we go. So I thrift for a living. That's what I do. I go to some garage sales, some flea markets and whatnot, but I have never been to an estate sale before.
What?
And yeah, it's more because I'm afraid. I don't really have any friends in the area that would go with me. So I'm kind of
go with a friend.
It's more that I'm just afraid to go by myself. So I've never braved the estate sales yet. So I have never been to an estate sale. So from watching your show, I see that you run estate sales. And is that something that you still do? And can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So I just had a baby not that long ago, and we bought an 50s bank building that we've been rehabbing and turning into an event venue. So I haven't done a lot of estate sales. We're just kind of picking and choosing just because it's a time factor. There's a lot of work involved, but you need to go to an estate sale. It's so fun. You need to go. So there's a lot of different companies out there that run estate sales. Some people are super organized and they tag everything and they put it all together and and it just depends on the home really and the circumstances, but sometimes you get the digger sales. And you love to thrift, so you probably would appreciate going to a digger sale because you really do find some amazing things. And I would recommend going on the last day to really get the bargains. It's so much fun. Oh, you have to go to an estate sale. I can't believe you're an estate sale virgin.
I know.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I've never been to
40 years old. Isn't that nuts?
You always have to mention my age.
40-year estate sale virgin. It could be a whole.
In this instance,
that I am.
yes, absolutely.
Maybe I just need to come there. We need to film us taking you to an estate sale. I think that would be a riot.
Oh, let's do that. Heck
I would love to go to an estate sale.
Yes, you have to.
So when you were filming, I'm assuming that was your real staff, right?
Yes. I did have to hire some people for part of the staff. It's television. They want certain personalities and they want things to happen. So I was open to that, and make it fun. But I was always calling on friends like, hey, I got this big sale. Can you come help? Can you come do this? So because you never know. And you always have to have a lot of staff because there's so many people milling around and you have to keep an eye on things. So yes.
So here was my thought. I was rewatching a show today to see if anything piqued my interest to really ask you. And I thought about something. I'm watching you haggle with people. When the camera was on, was the haggling different than when you were on TV? Did people try and get better deals because they were on camera?
Yeah, I think so. Or if somebody trying to, pull up their pants and act all tough that they're going to negotiate, like, oh, you almost spit out your rum.
Hang on a minute there. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you what the time it is, little girl.
Exactly. I would get a lot of that. And I'm like, look, I'm here for the family, but let's make it a win-win here. Everybody wins. I'm going to give you a good deal. So, yeah, there was a lot of that happened. But of course, they wanted to make a show out of it, no pun intended, but certainly you have those personalities that would do that no matter what.
And hey, Nadine, if you're not watching the chat, you are not alone. I am shocked right now at the estate sale virgins in our chat right now. This is blowing my mind. I love estate sales.
Really? They don't go to estate sales? They have to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure we have them here in Philadelphia, but it's different too when you're in an inner city, and I don't know. It's
people die in Philadelphia. I'm sure every day.
I guess, yeah. I'm sure they're around. If I look.
Got estate sales there, no doubt about it. And you're in Philadelphia. There's tons of history. Yeah. There's great stuff there. I lived in Bryn Mawr for a stint. So
okay, yeah.
Absolutely, there's some great stuff.
Yeah,
there.
And I find it at the thrift stores.
And you'll find just as good of stuff at an estate sale. I promise.
It's just braving it.
So, for those of you who've never been to a estate sale, if you're watching right now and you've never seen Cari's show, I would go watch it. You can find it on YouTube. I would go watch it. And almost all the companies here in Vegas are complete assholes. I hate them all. I have called them out. One of them used us as guinea pigs on Thursday to prove to the client their pricing was wrong. So we all waited in line for nothing. It was just beyond nutty. But this one lady, I don't know how you write your contracts, and I'm not going to ask you on that, Cari, because that's definitely personal, but she writes the contracts that whatever's left over, she gets to keep. And so she prices it so high, and these poor people usually who are distraught, their loved one has died. And so I went to a couple, and I'm like, okay, I got to remember, I don't like this company because she's a nut. And so one day I walk into an estate sale, and I'd been on TV. Everyone recognized me from the show. I realized it was her. I would have left, but I'm like, all right, people are seeing me. I go upstairs, and the sign on the clothing says men's button-down shirts, $3 to $5. And I find Tommy Bahama, and I find Robert Graham. And in my head, I go, this is going to be an issue. So I took a picture of her sign, and I come downstairs to ring out, and she goes, oh, I didn't see those. Those aren't $3 to $5. And I go, oh, yes, they are. I showed her picture in front of like 100 people. I go, I'll tell you what, I'll go $5 on all of them. I have 10 shirts. Here's 50 bucks. See you later.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Now, you are very nice and do it right. And when we filmed in Atlanta, we filmed that one that was so nice. They were the nicest people who ran it. Their staff was the nicest staff I've ever seen. And their price was right. And it was set up perfectly. Everything was priced. And I said, if you guys ever want to move to Vegas, I will help get you going because you would take over an entire city.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, there's a lot of unethical behavior that happens. And it's I always say that you have to handle the business with grace because of the circumstances. You know, 8 times out of 10, somebody's passed away and the family's bequeathed the situation. They don't know really how to handle it, what to do, and they have all this emotional attachment. So you really have to handle it with grace and help somebody out. I mean, yes, it's stuff, but there's still a lot of attachment to it and handling it the right way. And, you know, everybody wins. The state executors making money, the company's making money. You want to help out sellers, dealers who are going to just keep coming back to see you if you give them a great deal. So you have to work that whole situation. And a lot of times companies just become, unfortunately, too greedy about it. And I always say it's the river of junk never stops flowing. There is always more junk. It's coming. I mean, you know how easy it is to accumulate. I'm sure Nadine can relate too. If you're doing shooting clothing and that kind of thing, you can accumulate so easily. So the river of junk always is going to flow. What you put out there is going to come back to you. It's unfortunate. I've seen it time and time and time again happen.
So I know that you've recently become a mom and a first-time mom too.
Yes.
So yeah. So how has it changed for you now? You know, having your own business, trying to do everything, and being a first-time mom. How has that changed everything for you?
Oh, it totally changes your perspective. My husband was a widower when I met him, and so I got insta family. I got a 12-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl, and an older son. So it was insta family, but this is a bit different because it's, you know, going through having a baby, going through that whole process. I had quite complications.
Yeah.
The first 6 months of after I had her. So it really changed my perspective because I've been a serial entrepreneur. My husband's a serial entrepreneur. We were working such crazy hours and crazy situations that we decided, let's streamline. So we live in our 1850s bank building. We live upstairs here, and the business is downstairs, and we moved everything under one roof in this awesome little town, one town over from where I grew up. It's like Mayberry here. It's unbelievable. So we've really streamlined things. It really puts everything to perspective of, what the heck? Why am I working like this? Just really trying to streamline things, have more fun, and create a legacy, you know, for her that she can help out with too as she gets older. So it's been fun, and I'm loving every minute of it. It happens so fast. They grow up too fast.
They do. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Gosh, I don't like it.
That is true.
I'll play with my dog.
That's okay.
So I know you're probably not watching the chat, but everyone, mad love for you. Everyone's like, congratulations. Aww. My mom said hi.
Thank you, guys. I love your board. You've got great people in there. I love the stories. I tune in all the time. I had to share that one day when I was wrapping something for eBay. We've been cleaning out. So I had a warehouse attached to this building that was full of my junk. When we moved, we had a big auction, but there were some things I couldn't let go of. You know how that goes. Do I want to sell this? No, I want to hang on to it. No, I'm going to hold on to it because it's worth more. And if I sell it online, I'll hang on to it a little bit longer. Well, we're cleaning things out, and I was cleaning out tissue, and I was wrapping up those small items, and I was like, oh, here's some smaller tissue. Let me just grab this. So I'm wrapping up some little figurines I had sold on eBay, and it turns out it was those toilet seat covers.
Yep.
And so many people thought that they're like, are you really going to send it with that? Hey, babe, that's the gal from the festival. I think our trailer's in the way. Sorry, we're doing a antique festival this weekend, and our trailer is in a fire lane apparently.
Always hustling. Look at that. In the middle of the show, she's like, whoa, we're in the fire lane. Got to take care of this, honey.
Totally. So anyway, your board is fantastic. So thank you for the love, guys.
Thank you. You know, it's so nice to hear that. You know, not that you're an outsider, but you are definitely different than our normal people. You're running these, you know, physical businesses, and I had added you to the group, and you always had nice things. You were like, boy, this group's a lot of fun, and I like when you post.
the stories, people saying, oh, I bought this, it went for this, I got this great feedback, this person had been searching for it. I mean, isn't really the stuff all about the stories anyway? Childhood memories, or, you know, I needed that shine-tastic 70s tile for, who knows what the person bought that for, Nadine? That's so weird. It's just funny. They're like, yeah, I've been looking for this.
Yeah. No, that was not on my radar, but it was there, and I was just like, huh.
You should write them and go, hey, did you do anything with it? Can you send me a picture? I want to see the finished product.
I always do that. If somebody's buying something really oddball at an estate sale, I'll kind of sum it up and go, what are you doing?
I would be interested to see what they're tiling with that ugly 70s tile, but they're using it for something, and they spent money on it.
That's right. And people buy everything. I remember one of my girlfriends, I took her to help me. I said, hey, can you help me with this estate sale? It's pretty messy. It needs lots of organization. Come help me, you know, kind of just put like with like and colors with colors and make it, you know, look decent. And there was this crazy like parrot hanging mobile weird thing. And she goes, that thing is so ugly. No one's ever going to buy that. Why are you even just keeping it in the sale? Do you know it was the first thing that sold?
Ugly sells. We always say that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a buyer for everything. And I always say that people will buy the food out of the cupboards if you let them. I mean, if it's not expired. I mean, they buy everything. If it's not nailed down, they buy it. They want the rocks out of the yard. I mean, it's no joke. It's crazy.
What do you do with liquor?
What do you do with liquor? I sell the bottles, the decorative bottles.
Yeah, I you know, I fancy myself a junior mixologist, so I'll make drinks and stuff. And one of the ingredients I always need for a drink I make and some other classic tiki drinks. I'm at an estate sale. Check this out. This will blow your mind. You ready? Because I know you've never done this. So I look at all the pictures, and I'm kind of like Rain Man or Memento. I've envisioned the whole house. And so when I know I want something, okay, that's hanging in the living room as I'm in line. Oh, I bet you the living room is right.
Crazy people, when they open the door, you run to the room.
Not run, but I've already envisioned the house, so I know the corners I need to go to.
You know what you want. You're focused.
Yeah. So they had tiki mugs on this bookshelf. So I saw the room. As I walked through the door, I saw the room was off to the right. I get to the bookshelf, and what this idiot company did was, after they took the pictures, they redid the whole house. It wasn't nothing was in the spot in the pictures that it was in the pictures.
Oh, that's brutal.
So I finally find the mugs. They had taped them inside a box in the garage. I mean, just bizarro. And in the meantime, I'm missing the liquor. The collectible bottles. So I go out, and there's a vintage bottle of one ingredient I need that no one watching this show right now has ever heard of. It's called Liquor 43. It's a Spanish liqueur made with 43 spices. And I use it in one of my drinks. And so I saw this woman pick it up right in front of me. I'm like, and they were charging $1.50 for the collectible bottles. So I go out in the park, I go out in the driveway when we're both done. I go, I'll give you $20 for that bottle right now. And she goes, well, I bought all the booze for my son's bar. I go, look, the Jack Daniels, the Crown Royal, I get. Your son has never heard of Liquor 43. I'll give you $30 right now. That paid for all the booze you just bought. And so she took it. And I just wanted to see if it tasted different, being vintage. It was like 20 years old.
Did it taste different?
Yeah, it tasted a little different. It's still good, but I'm drinking history, and I like that. I like history, and I like drinking history, so it was fun.
And did you get the tiki mugs, too?
I got the tiki mugs too, but they weren't as desirable as I thought. So I wasted all that time figuring out what they did with the damn mugs, idiots.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
If you ever want to move here, you could take over this town.
Too hot in Vegas.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it here.
We've got some friends out there.
Yeah, well, when you come visit, I'll show you a good time in Vegas.
Perfect.
What? Yeah, go ahead, Nay. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to ask for another question.
No, go ahead. I'm saying, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I know that you refurbish a lot of things too, because I watched a couple episodes of your show, and I see that you like to refinish things. And so can you talk about what your absolute favorite refurbished piece that you did was?
That's so hard because we do so many pieces. Our whole home is refurbished.
Oh, that's cool.
I think my the most recent, most favorite project was my daughter's nursery. It was really fun.
Oh, now I'm gonna get all teary-eyed.
Oh, that's great.
And every time we go in there, it's just like, it's just so much fun. I used a lot of my grandmother's pieces and her needlepoint, and so that's the most fun so far of doing those pieces. But
Oh, that's great.
I will refurbish just about anything if it's got potential. So it's funny, we were setting up for that sale today, and there were some drawers. We were in Tennessee 2 weeks ago, and it was torrential downpours. I was telling you this earlier, and it's raining here in Michigan, and we're hoping for good weather. Well, a lot of stuff got rained on. It was a bummer, and I have a problem with throwing stuff away. I don't want to throw it away. And there were these drawers that were all like buckled, and I was like, all right, just throw it away. So it's hard for me not to want to refurbish something and make it into something. But you can only have so many piles, So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Death piles.
So is your thrill, like for me, I love the thrill of the hunt. I love, shopping and trying to finding these exciting, vintage things. And, I love that. But I don't take things and, I mean, in some minor ways I have, repurpose things, but I don't, take a whole, set of drawers and strip it down and repaint it. That's not what I do. So is your thrill more the thrill of the hunt or the thrill of the before and then the after?
It's a little bit of both.
That's a great question. Holy cow.
It is. That's a good one. And it's a little bit of both. It's so fun. I love when I find something. I immediately thought of something that I found thrifting, and it's these really cool 1960s orange like basket weave curtains, and they're in my Airstream, and they're orange. And I didn't have my Airstream when I bought these curtains. I was like, these are cool. I can use these for something, or somebody's gonna want these. And I love orange, so it was like, these are sweet. The best part of the thrill of finding is always fantastic. It's so exciting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like looking it up and finding out what it's worth or whatever. But then when you actually have something that's sitting in your death pile or in your hoard, and you find an awesome use for it, that's the magic. Like, oh my gosh, I have the perfect place for this. Oh my gosh, I have the perfect scenario for this. That's the really fun part. So I always say that, I may hoard a little bit, and I may be a few cats short of being a hoarder, but I always love to, I like to connect the dots, to use it for something. And then if it sits around too long and I don't connect it, then it's like, okay, time to purge, time to sell. So, but that's the fun part. I think it's a little bit of both.
Cool.
All right, so let me ask you, let's talk TV a little bit. I'm going to guess, and I might be wrong, but friends and fans and people watching right now would think making TV is fun and glamorous, and I am here to say it is neither.
No, it's not.
It is. Now, look, I know it ain't digging a ditch. I appreciate hard, laborious work, but I got to tell you, it is the most boring, tedious work I've ever done in my life.
It slows you down. I walk fast, talk fast, move fast. I go. And TV, you have to slow it all down. But in the other end, the antique and vintage business is kind of like a fun. You can saunter through, check things out, research it, and then it speeds everything up. Like, oh my gosh, hurry up. So you're going to miss stuff. You're going to miss the value of things. So I was always paranoid about doing a good job for my customer. What if I missed the $1,000 item that we marked $50? Or, it's always that paranoia in your mind if you want to do a good job. But it's hard work. It's very tiresome. It was 12 to 16-hour days.
Oh, yeah.
You don't stop. I explain it like this. It's like you're on, during the time that I was shooting television and doing all the other things that were involved with that, I was on a horse. I was like on a carousel, and all I could see were the horses going up and down. I couldn't really see out because it's like you're in this world of like, we got to do this and this and this. And it was insane. It was insane. I needed the break, but it was a lot of fun. I'm very grateful.
Well, yeah, I mean, the end to me, and people are really shocked when they hear this, but I hated it. I would do it again, but I like the end product, and I liked the people I've reached, touched, met, and laughed with because of it. And that part, I would do it all again. For as boring and monotonous as it is, the people I have met because of it, and even you. I mean, we're friends now because we both had shows, and so I wouldn't change that for the world. Absolutely not.
you get to touch a lot of people on a broader platform. I mean, but we have the internet now, which is wonderful. But it's you inspire, and look at what's happening with what you're doing right now with this show. All the tips, all the lives you're touching, changing lives. You're helping people from teenagers to senior citizens with this. I mean, it's fantastic. And that's the fun part, where you really are touching all these people's lives, and they tell you, oh my gosh, you really inspire me. Well, you couldn't do that without social media and television. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for the experience. It's hard work though, but but it was definitely worth it. I'll say that.
And because of the way you did your show, you were filming just one sale through an episode, whereas when we filmed, we'd always be filming different episodes at a time. And so ours was constantly, we're standing in parking lots, in our underwear, changing clothes, because it's like, okay, you're in episode 3 clothes now, change quick. And so we're always, ours was always like do. And then, the airplane flies overhead, the Harley goes down the street, say it again. And you'd be a soliloquy, and it'd be like, Arr.
I wore a cape. I wore a soundman's the lighting guy's cape around my neck one day to try to get continuity on wardrobe. I mean, it's crazy some of the stuff that you do, but you just make it work. It's flexible when you're shooting television. It's crazy.
Did you ever have a client who had asked you to do an estate sale or hired you, and when you said, hey, we're filming TV, they said, no, thanks?
Nobody said no thanks, if I remember. Maybe like one family, but
okay.
I think it was the opposite end of the spectrum, where people were like, oh yeah, that's great, because they realized the exposure, of the customers wanting to come and the connections that we could make. So for the most part, they were totally on board. So.
And you had good sound bites out of the customers. I was watching an episode today, and I'm like, and you probably film more than you show, like we did, but your customers were very good at giving good sound bites. I don't know. And you can tell natural flow to here's what I need you to say. And those people were great. At least the episode I was just watching today, they're really good.
There are sound bites that we use joking around in our family from customers that have shopped with us. It is unreal. When you deal with the public, it is a hoot. It's unbelievable. One of the first estate sales I ever had my husband I said, can you drop me off? It's in a town where signage is a big issue in some cities around here. You could only have signs in the yard. You couldn't have them anywhere else. But it was a pretty strict city. And the house that I was liquidating, it was he owned a pawn shop back in the 60s and 70s. Really,
wow.
Yeah, so the basement was like wild. They had like instruments and stereos and tube radio. It was really, really wild. Well, someone comes in as my husband is in there, and he's never really experienced, he's Italian, like his mom, you could eat off of her like garage floor. They didn't have the plastic room, where you couldn't sit on the furniture, but she was very much a minimalist and very, very clean. And he'd never really experienced this whole vintage lifestyle until he started dating me. And so we're in there, and I'm in the living room setting up the cash table, it's the first day of the sale, or second day, I'm sorry. And it was, usually like the second day in certain areas, it wasn't a super busy sale. This guy pops open the door, swings open the door, and he's like, do you have a lawn mowing machine? Lawn mowing machine? Kept doing this. And we looked at each other. We just couldn't, we peed ourselves laughing. It was so, dealing with the public is such a crack up that it's just unreal. We use those sound bites all the time from a multitude of customers. It's hilarious. So those are all real. Those are all real. Nothing was faked in any of that.
Yeah, like I said, if you've not seen her show, I would definitely go check it out on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. And if you've never been to a estate sale, like I see a bunch of you can at least see how one works. So then you feel a little bit better about going. You can see it live in action.
You've never been in. And one of the things I want to say for those people who haven't ever been to a sale, if you don't feel like standing in line for the first day, you don't have to stand in line. Go the second or third day, and don't be afraid to say, hey, would you take offers on this piece? If there's something that you really want. And typically a company will work where it's full price the first day, 25% off the second day, and then 50% off or more on the third day. Go on the last day, get a bargain. It's fun, and it's a little bit you feel a little odd at first because you're in someone's house and you're going through things and it just feels a little strange or weird. And that was one of the reasons why I started my estate sale business, is because I was going into these homes and I was having these experiences where people weren't friendly to me. And I wanted it to be a positive, fun experience of giving things a new life, finding a new home. So go and get a bargain and just be nice. That's really, the name of the game. But just go, Nadine. I'm telling you, you need to go to us.
Yeah, I think I need an estate sale buddy the first time to get my feet wet, and then maybe I'll. It's hard too because most of them are really early, like on the weekends, and I've got kids, and it's never at convenient times.
Go in the middle of the day and find a bargain too. So
yes, okay.
I always say you gotta be the first in or the last out. You either gotta get the good stuff, or cut the deal at the end.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Oh, goodness.
You have a question for our guest?
Well, you had a shop too? Do you still do that, or is that?
We do have a shop.
Okay.
We're actually moving it into another town here in Michigan that a girlfriend's going to take over. It's in Pontiac, Michigan. I'm sure you've heard of Pontiac.
Yes.
Kind of under revitalization like Detroit. So we're moving it there. We're really excited. And it's just another one of those things off my plate and streamlining.
So is it all antiques or vintage items? What do you sell exactly?
It's antique, vintage, obviously items that have been repurposed. And we always bring in local artisans and other vendors from across the country who are makers, who do handmade items too, because I like to support the people trying to make it.
Right. So you do consignment as well? Is that?
We used to do consignment. We do a lot of buyouts these days, but we'll find artisans pieces. Yes, we do to answer that.
Okay, that's neat.
And what's your estate sale company? If you want to give yourself a plug here, please plug. Everyone kept asking what city you're in, what's it called. So now
I'm in Holly, Michigan, and the website's repurposeshop.com. The brand is Repurpose, but you can check me out there, repurposeshop.com. And because we do so much refurbishing, I actually have a paint line called Repurpose from a color. You can check that out on the website too. If you are into redoing pieces, it's everyone can be a DIYer with that. So I got to plug that, right?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So it's not a chalk paint for those of you who are chalk paint users. My paint gives everything a buttery soft finish without the wax. So, and you can slap it right on. It's got primer in it. So there you go. I did a plug.
Very cool. Yeah, I love what you do because I'm an artist, and it's very, you're an artist too. It's really neat.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
You are way more handy than I could ever dream to be.
Oh, well,
I don't know if my dad's watching, but dad, if you are, or mom, tell dad, this is the son you wanted. In that aspect. My dad was a carpenter, and I just didn't get that gene.
Really? Your dad was a carpenter? You didn't get anything?
He lucked out, too. He got drafted during Vietnam, and my mom and dad kind of upped their wedding, hoping he wouldn't get drafted. They got married. He got drafted anyway. And as he was getting through basics, they found out he was a carpenter's apprentice. And instead of sending him to Nam to fight, they sent him to Germany to build stuff at the base in Germany. So he lucked out having a skill other than fighting. And so he spent his time building stuff. And when I was growing up, I never got it. And so I had two jobs. He would either tell me where to hammer nails or sweep up. That's the only thing I could do.
That's funny.
I can't fix nothing. I can't build nothing. But I can sell bras.
I was just about to say, but you can sell bras. Too funny. That cracked me up.
I can sell big bras.
You know what that reminded me of when you held it up in Weird Science when they put the bras on there?
I'm so glad you read. Nadine, do you know that movie?
What's that?
Weird Science?
Oh, no.
Oh, you have to watch it.
I know the song, but I've never seen it.
One of my favorites, and most people don't remember it or know it. And oh my God, I could quote that movie.
Me too.
She don't even have her license, Lisa.
Wait a minute. Is that the one? Is that the movie where there was this really pretty girl, but she had a half of a face, and the other half of her face was like
no.
Really? Okay, never mind.
It wasn't that, but I can't believe you
Okay, so I've never seen the movie.
He doesn't even have a license, Lisa.
No shit, Chet. No shit.
How would you like a greasy pork sandwich served in a dirty ashtray?
Oh, I think I have found my new buddy. You.
Sorry. He just passed away. It's so sad.
I know.
Crazy.
Well, I got to say, this has been an awesome episode. I am so thankful for you to come on and take time out of because your schedule is as hectic as mine, plus the new baby.
Thank you for having me. Well, it's late. We got her to bed, so it's perfect. So I appreciate you guys having me. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great stuff.
Thank you.
Fun tips and tricks.
Thank you very much. So yeah, if you're in Michigan, I put the website in the chat. I will put it down below for those of you watching after the fact, but please make sure that you stop by her business, or if she's running a estate sale, or if she's at a flea market, go check her out. I would absolutely. We were close to each other last year, but you were just having the baby, so the timing couldn't have been any more unperfect because, of course, you were a little busy giving birth. So
yes, well, I think we'll have to do some sort of thrifting situation in Michigan soon. So that would be fun. We're chatting about that coming soon.
Absolutely. So yes, and maybe if the stars align, you and I can either take Nadine to an estate sale, or I can bring Nadine to one of yours.
I love
we will deflower
That would be
her.
so awesome.
I think
And we'd have to get footage of it. My first estate sale. How cool would that be?
Yeah, we have to do that.
All right, so thank you everyone for tuning in live. Please do me a favor down below, hit that like button and subscribe if you have not subscribed. We have all kinds of fun shows coming up. So on the near future, Nay and I are going to do a thrift haul Saturday night, 9:30. Mom and I will be back on Sunday, selling past your expiration date, being thrifty over 50. And we're going to talk about how to do a multi-variation listing. If you have no clue what those words mean, you should definitely tune in because you've never done one. And then next week, I have a good idea for our guest. I'm going to run it by Nadine before I announce it because I would hate to surprise her and have her go.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll talk about that. But keep your eyes peeled. And if you want to come to eBay, if you want to come to Vegas for eBay Open in July, they open registration today. It is a capped number, so do not hesitate. And if you're in my secret beach, I want to tell you two things. The party is shaping up to be kick-ass for you guys after the eBay event. And next week, we're going to have our guest webinar. And guess what we're going to talk about? Star Wars stuff. Yay. I've got a good friend who is like the ultimate collector, and he's going to teach us all the tips and tricks and what to look for when you're out thrifting about Star Wars collectibles. So Secret Beach, that's coming up. And for those of you who want to join the Secret Beach, my next webinar, How to Buy and Sell Tiki, is coming up in about a week. And then the Secret Beach will be open. So stay tuned for all that good stuff, all the teaching, the learning, the YouTube videos, everything. We got so much to give. We can't wait to give it to you more. So thank you, Cari. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you to live viewers.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you rock. Please come back soon someday. We would love to talk more with you.
Will do.
You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a good evening, and I'll see you Saturday night.